Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it's they made what anime TV series, Shenmue the Animation, Episode 9, Distinct. I promised you, if you folks you remember last episode, that I would improve my notes because they were getting a little bit lengthy and a little bit wordy, and the episode reviews were going a little bit too long. So here we go. I've improved. Instead of being 3 pages long, they're now about a page and a half. So I've managed to halve them down. And basically, to do that, what I've done is really this. I've just stopped noting every single time that Rio walks somewhere or they talk about the same thing or what. Do you know what I mean? The things that I've been critical over, I'm just not including now, or I'm generalizing more than anything else, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, we're up to episode 9, Distinct, and it begins with Rio reading the book by Summing Zhao and thinking about what Landy said about his father killing him. And in that, we see a note kind of drop from the book with a symbol on it. Walking down the hallway with the book in hand, Rio notes that Yonder Zoo is the key to figuring out his father's murderer. Wow, wow, wow. Like, honestly, that I don't know who I'm more annoyed with at this point, Rio or the writers who clearly now appear to be dragging this out because I don't even get like why we, and it's so like I wrote it, I said I'd gloss over stuff like this, but not when it's this fucking blatant. It's like, no
Yeah.
shit, Sherlock, like that's literally the fucking link, you know?
Yeah, I think it's very hard to try and explain in a TV series than it is in the game. Where in the game, literally, you just go from one point to another point. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it is like it's like, are you that thick?
Yeah, like this is all you've been doing. Like you've got nothing else to go on. Maria then spots Lisha looking at a photograph of what appears to be herself and someone named Zimmy. The following day, Rio shows Fang Mei the note he found in the book. She suggests he visit the owner of the Hong Kong tea market, and there, the owner looks at the symbol and claims it looks like a note, looks like the Chow Wan sign, and suggests he visit Guoxang for information about it, which is what Rio does next, learning that the symbol is indeed the Chow Wan sign, and is told what each circle represents and its placement. He then learns about the check-like symbol on the back that shows that a person is a friend of Yando Zhu. Guziang suggests that Rio memorizes the symbol and eat at restaurants and bars to find other friends of Yando. Yeah, so why is this in the episode? Why is this in the show? How I'm now getting more and more critical of how fucking unnecessarily long this show is. I do not get how we've hit 13 episodes in the end. Why is
Mhm.
it 10, not 10? You could cut all of this out and keep this a lot simpler, but it feels now like it's like they've gone the wrong way where they're like, oh, we'll show you everything in the game. And
Um,
like, I don't get this.
I was okay with it to a point because obviously they had to obviously try and it's the only way he's going to meet you're on the zone. So, but
Yep.
obviously in the game, I'm glad they didn't do it in the game because in the game, the amount of times you sat down at a restaurant, you put the symbol on the teacups and it didn't work, you then have to try another one and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a lot short, but yeah, you are right. There's a lot they've done that they didn't have to do, like, and despite it being okay, like the whole joy scenes and all that, it's nice, it's fun, but was it necessary?
Yes, yes. I mean, at least the show is a little bit peppier when it comes to the symbol side of things, because he does it at a street style restaurant, but it doesn't. Nothing happens until he goes to pay his bill. The stone owner passes him a message telling him to wait at the Manmo Park at 9 p.m. And later, when he goes there, he's knocked out by an unknown assailant. There, he has a dream where he chases after Landy. Awakening in his room the following day, Rio spots the photo that Li Shao was looking at a couple of days ago, and expecting the back of it, the names of Li Shao's true name and the name of what appears to be her brother are written in the bottom right-hand corner of it. I'm telling you all of this now because the show is going to try and pretend like it's a big secret, and I'm not. I'm not playing it, that game. I'm not
Yeah.
playing it, Shenmue 2. Meeting with Fang Mei, she informs Rio that Li Shao found and returned him to the Manmo Temple. And in turn, Rio asks Fang Mei about someone named Ziming. Fang Mei reveals that Ziming is Li Shao's elder brother and about them being raised in an orphanage. Afterwards, Rio encounters a man who informs Rio more about the message that he's trying to convey to Yuando Zhu, and after learning he's a martial artist, asks him to learn about Wood. So we're back, forget everything else, we're now just back on Wood, you know?
Yep.
Taken to his barber shop, it is there that he tests Rio's reflexes, but although he passes, he cannot teach him about Wood. And the reason why is that Rio isn't fit to learn about Wood. Honestly, I know this is game, but it's like, Of course he isn't. I wonder if by the end of the episode he will be.
Yeah,
I try to watch some of this because, like, sometimes, like, I try to picture it like, what if I didn't know the game? Would I like this? And I think at
yeah.
this stage, I don't think I would.
No, you wouldn't. So, I mean, it's very different from playing it in the game because there's a lot more to do. But yeah, watching it on TV, I think so someone new to the show just watching the show because they're a fan of Japanese stuff like that would be like, "What the hell's going on?"
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it doesn't even have like sort of like it's anime, but it doesn't have traditional anime elements. E.g., I saw a joke the other day, and I think it works where like Rio does one thing, like he does an action that takes 10 seconds, but
Mm.
then the next 10 minutes is all his internal monologuing. Oh, why did he not catch the leaf and all that kind of stuff? None of that exists in this show. Does that
Yeah,
mean it's sort of, you know? So it's not even about that. It's a show that was made for people who like Shenmue. And that
yeah,
is a very small amount of people.
yeah,
Outside of the shop, Rio recalls the words of his father and the barber, all of whom stated he's missing something. So it's kind of linking those two things. And he decides to follow the tip the barber gave him about where he once found a symbol at a place called the Dujang Diner. It is there that Rio sets the symbol again with the teacups, and the waitress then informs him that it is a phone call. This is not actually true. There's nobody on the end of the line. And when he returns to the table, there's a message having been left for him. The message says to meet someone there at 8 p.m. And back at the temple, Liasho learns from Fangmei that Rio is out again. This could have been the super quick, which is Rio leaves it on does the teacups, and the waitress just comes over and leaves the note.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
At, at the designated time, Rio meets with an associate of Yando Zoo, but before they can talk about anything, they're ambushed by members of the Yellowhead gang. Yando's associate is captured by a member of the gang, and Rio deals with the others. After the members bring the associate to the leader of the group, but when he orders his men to attack Rio, mysteriously they all faint, which is a weird scene. All right.
yeah,
Panicking, the leader flees as the incognito Lia Xiao disappears into the shadows. It appears that she was involved. Rio then helps the associate, and after showing him the letter from Yando, the associate introduces himself as Shu Quinn, an aide to Yando. As for his whereabouts, it's unknown as he's currently being targeted by the Chi-Yu men. But obviously, still wanting to find Yando, Shugin suggests that Rio seek out Ren of the Heavens Gang and learns of his location. Finally, finally, God
yeah.
Almighty! Even rereading what I wrote here, I was bored. We are kind of getting there, folks. With Ren now beginning to actually step into frame. Arriving at the Heavens Gang hideout, Rio is accosted by three members of the gang, but in the end is knocked out. Later, Rio awakens at Wong's boathouse and is given a special lighter that only Heaven Gang members have, and a password that will allow him entrance to the hideout. So, following Wong's advice, Rio is allowed passage into the hideout and meets with Ren. After a brief test from Ren, he leads Rio to suspect the location of Yuando. In reality, he's actually led to a shady business transaction involving the Yellowhead leader Rio encountered the day before. So this is a fun little sequence here, you know, a little bit interesting, and feels this is really cool because we've not had this in a little while. Feels like the Shenmue overarching story actually moves forward here. Not the
Yeah,
Rio learning wood or not martial arts stuff. The overarching Landy, Chiyu men, that story felt like it moved a little bit forward here.
yeah, definitely.
And when the lights go off, and Ren uses that opportunity to steal the money that was being used in the transaction, leaving Rio to fight against the men who blame him, of course. Obviously, Rio wins, and once dealt with, Rio chases Ren through a construction building. Tape! Tape!
Oh,
where they end up falling from and landing on a crate. Following that, they kind of regain their stuff, and Ren spots the Phoenix Mirror by Rio's side, and basically Rio fills him in. Look, this is what I'm here for, and all that stuff. Impressed, I guess. I don't know, or interested in Rio, like how he's kind of got to this point. Ren offers to help Rio find Yando, and but a comment made by Ren makes Rio realize apparently what he's lacking. And the following day meets with the barber again and learns of the final word principle, which is called Dan. The principle is Dan, not a person, not Dan, a person.
yeah,
Yeah. Furthermore, Rio realizes what Liasha was trying to convey to him. And he later confronts and tells her that he knows about the loss of a brother, and in turn, Yasha asks him what he'll do when he finds his father's memory. Father's murderer, not memory.
Yeah.
But at this stage, he doesn't answer, but does tell her he's leaving the temple as it's time to kind of move forward. At least we end in a sort of forward-moving fashion, but it does feel like a lot of like this stuff doesn't feel as important as it tried to make out it all it was. E.g., like her brother and what she was trying to teach him and all of that. It doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things because ultimately, go on.
That's I was going to say because obviously the game explains it a lot better than obviously than the show does because it doesn't go into proper detail because obviously her brother got killed for revenge. And it doesn't really go into enough detail for me personally, but
Yeah,
I
which
think
is weird,
they
right?
rely too much. Yeah, because I think they give too much detail for people like Joy than this because I think for me because then this will explain why she is maybe a bit edgy towards Ryu because she knows that he could do the same thing, go down the same route. So I thought they should get more detail for this than other little things.
It's a funny one because I think the show has been overtly detailed sometimes to a
Mm,
fault. But I think here they thought, okay, we don't have to spell it out because the game spells it out. Basically, don't kill for vengeance and all
mm,
stuff like that. But I feel like the show was trying to play it more coy, which is fine because we all know that. But it's just kind of like, but why? You haven't done that
mm,
with anything else. You've gone out of your way to spell it out. Every lesson that Rio's learned, he's had to go for a sort of trial. Sometimes even one that he stumbles upon and then realizes this is how he learns the wound, he learns patience and this and all that kind of thing. And it's been quite on the
yeah,
nose. But when it comes to pointing out that her brother will have been killed because of vengeance and that Rio's following a similar path, it just shows like, well, we won't spell it out to you.
yeah.
I don't know. But this episode felt really long. I'm at a point in the show where I'm just like, oh my God, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, you know?
Mm,
And this was a major problem with it. Thankfully, the last 10 to 15 minutes, it does kind of feel like it speeds up and starts to get places, which at least made me hopeful for the next episode, you know? Now we're kind of I didn't care for it much in the game either. Now we're kind of through the whole wooed stuff, you know?
yeah, yeah.
That is episode 9 distinct. You got any thoughts that you want to share? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.